Hey guys, BladerZ here, and I'm back with another Top 10. And before we start, as promised, I brought a brand new look to my videos. So I'd really like to know what you think. Please put it down in the comments below. Now, as usual, we'll get into the normal before we start. Like always, this video is my opinion, should not be taken as fact. Oh, forgot to mention, this is the top 10 Beyblade Burst characters. So the second thing is, so again, my opinion, not fact, and I'm only using the anime only. Which means I will not be using any characters in the manga or anything like that. And I will try to put a link to the playlist in the description. I haven't had a lot of success with that before, so if I can't, I'll just put a link to all the previous videos. Or you can just simply go check out the playlist on my channel. So with that out of the way, we'll get into number 10. At number 10, we have Rentaro Kiyama, also known as, in the English anime, he's also known as Honcho, but in the Japanese anime, they call him Chief. So Rentaro is kind of played as a pretty major character. He seems to have a lot of influence on Vault's character throughout the first season, and a little bit in the second season. I think the main reason is that he's up here is I'm not a huge fan of his character. To me, he just seems kind of self-centered. He's still better than other characters like Cisco, who did not make this list. And when it comes down to it, he is honest and has a strong sense of justice. So that's it for Rentaro. Also, another thing, a lot of people, well not a lot of people, but in some of my videos, people complained about the font color. Some of them were harder to read. So for this, I'm keeping the font color consistent with this blue. Okay, number 9, we have Kuza Ackerman. Kuza is also a character who is a good friend of Alt and seems to have a bit of influence on his character, but I don't see as a crucial character. He has a lot in common with Vault, being... Sorry, I think I'm coming down with a cold. Anyway, being quite cheery and very energetic. And a lot like Vault, when it comes down to battling, he's very serious. So that's why Kuza is at number 9. Number 8 is Daina Kurogami, or as you English anime watchers will know him as Daigo. So Daina is kind of a darker character. He's still a good friend to Vault. He was kind of seen more as a villain when he was originally introduced, but lately he's definitely become a good friend of the group. He doesn't really talk very much, but he's a fairly strong blader, and yeah, really not much else to him. Oh, he also tends to not show very much emotion. Okay, next, Keisuke Midorikawa, or as the English watchers would know him as Ken Midori. So Ken, like Daina, really does not talk very much. He prefers to talk through his puppets. And in my opinion, he's actually a pretty well-developed character. He's had to change schools a lot like myself, and really has struggled making friends. So he's kind of developed a shy personality, and doesn't really like talking, until he meets Vault and the others. and he makes a very strong connection with them, and then the tides turn again when he has to move away again. Ever since then, he's been sprinkled around through a few episodes, including the latest episode of the God series, which just came out as today, as of the recording of this video. All in all, I think Ken is a very good, well-developed character, just not my favorite. Number 6, we have Jacqueline Kaiser, or Jaka. I'm sure most of you English anime watchers are going, what is with that name? Since in the English anime he's referred to as Alexander Shakadera, or Xander for short. So, he's also got a bit of a personality kind of like Vault. He's very cheerful and usually pretty upbeat. But he likes to express most of his emotion through laughter. And compared to Vault, this guy is a skyscraper. And the wiki says that they're all 11. I really don't think that's possible. Anyway. But even with his cheerful personality, a lot like Kuze, he usually shows his more serious side when battling. And he can actually be a pretty serious threat. So, number 5, halfway through. And number 5 is Orochi Gimba. I'm sure a lot of you are probably wondering why I put him on this list. I personally think he's a very interesting character. I mean, he basically has a superpower. I mean, he's able to hear when bays are getting close to bursting. He also has this weird power to be able to hear like some kind of sound coming from bay. And just determine all sorts of weird things about it, like if the blader is... I don't really hardly even understand it myself. And he's usually, like some of the other characters on this, pretty quiet most of the time. And again, like most of the bladers on this on this list, he's very serious during battle. So, And number 4, Shirasagijo Dui, or Louis Shirasagijo, or English watchers would know him as Louis Shirosagi. Did I get that right? I don't know, I really don't like the English anime. It's too dumbed down for me. Anyway, Louis is seen as the main villain throughout Season 1 and parts of Season 2. Louis is very aggressive and quite rude. He can also be defined as a sadist, which, according to the dictionary, is a person who derives pleasure or enjoyment from physically harming someone. As we can see that he's the sole cause of Scar. If you haven't seen it, it happened in Season 1, well, technically before Season 1, when him and Louis first battled in the finals of the national tournament. Louis knocks Spriggan out, and it hit Shu in the face, causing Shu's scar. So there is no doubt that while he may not directly derive pleasure from hurting other people, it certainly doesn't make him feel bad. Anyway, that is personally why he's not higher on the list. I'm not a fan of his character, but I figured he kind of deserves a place as basically the main villain. So number 3, this one is it's a little different than the others, because this one is a specific version of a character. So at number 3 I have Shu Kernai, but specifically before he became Red Eye. I hate his character after becoming Red Eye. So this is specifically Shu from Season 1 only, who is a great character. He's a genius blader, often a favor in his own town, and one of Vault's good childhood friends. Plus, he was one of the best bladers in all of Japan. Second only to Louis. And he was that kind of character that people look up to. A kind of person that other people strive to be like. And then he had to go and ruin it and become a villain. Yeah. So, Season 1, Shu Kernai places number 3. And for the sole reason of him becoming a bad guy later on, is he at number 3, and not 2 or 1. But at number 2, the runner-up, Free de la Hoya. So, Free is actually often shown to be quite lazy, pretty carefree. And he tends to really not do anything during a Bey battle. He doesn't really show emotion, or yell, or anything that a normal blader does. Just kind of stands there and stares. That gets creepier every time I think about it. But I still have to acknowledge that he's the number 1 blader in the world. So that does put him at number 2. Second only to one person. And that person is Vault Aoi. I'm sure most of you saw this coming, seeing as how he is the main character of the entire series. He's had the most screen time, which leaves him the most time for character development, and boy has he had quite a bit. Starting from a novice blader to possibly soon becoming the number 1 blader in the world. I mean, he only won against Free by default, but he is on that path to becoming the best blader in the world. And in the very first episode, he was practically a nobody. Could not win. Nothing. So he has had quite the story change. He's also quite childish. He tends to clown around, and has a habit of getting easily excited, as well as being overconfident in his abilities, which causes a lot of his losses. He also tends to get pretty upset easily, which can also affect his battling. For example, in Season 2, after Louis beats Shu and tries to walk off, Vault stops him and just completely loses because Vault basically just randomly starts shouting out moves with no real strategy behind anything. So while Vault is a good character, he does have his flaws, which I think just adds to his character. And overall, he's not a bad blader. In fact, like I said, he could be the new number 1 in the world. Anyway, that's it for this top 10. Thank you for watching. I know this hasn't been the best. Like I said, I think I'm coming down with a cold, but I put it off for too long. I needed to make it, so here it is. I did it. I hope you like it. Please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and comment what you think down below. I always read the comments, and I'm always open to suggestions. With that out of the way, I will see you next time.